Hello, I'm Kimberlie Acosta. Welcome to the Native News Update. It's Friday, May 6th. Many of the stories you hear here can be found at our website, IndianCountryNews.com. And here's the news for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. 3 Utah law enforcers, each from different races and backgrounds, were honored at the Utah Capitol on May 5th. What ties them together is they are all brothers in the law enforcement community, each killed in the line of duty. We might be diverse in our beliefs, in our cultures, the way that we do things, but we all grieve, we all pray. These honorable people, sometimes we don't honor them enough, said Daryl LaRose, a Native American who was there with other Native Americans to honor Bureau of Indian Affairs officer Josh Yazzie. On Thursday, the plaques holding 3 names of officers killed in the line of duty last year were added to the Utah Fallen Officers Memorial. Josh Yazzie, Franco Aguilar, and Brian Harris. One of the most heartfelt tributes to Yazzie and the 2 men came at the end of the state's scheduled portion of the ceremony when a group of Native Americans sang in a drum circle in front of the memorial. Legislation that starts the process for Native Hawaiians to form their own government is heading to Governor Neil Abercrombie for his approval. The Hawaii House and Senate voted May 3rd to approve the bill, which recognizes Native Hawaiians as the indigenous people of the state. The measure is meant to support a related proposal pending in Congress that would protect Native Hawaiian programs and allow them to create a self-governing entity. Native Hawaiians are the last remaining indigenous group in the United States who haven't been allowed to establish their own government, a right already extended to many Alaska Natives and Native American tribes. The bill calls for a 5-member commission responsible for creating a roll of qualified Native Hawaiians interested in participating in their government. According to a May 3rd Oklahoma State University press release, the Cherokee Nation Foundation has given $333,334 to OSU to endow CNF scholarships. The money represents the first time a Native American nation has endowed a scholarship at OSU. With a match from OSU alumnus and entrepreneur T. Boone Pickens under the Picken Legacy Scholarship Match, the gift will total $1 million. The CNF's mission is to provide higher education assistance to Cherokee citizens and help to revitalize the Cherokee language. Education has always been a cornerstone of Cherokee values, said CNF Executive Director Kimberlie Gilligan. The Cherokee Nation built the first institution of higher learning for women west of the Mississippi River and was the first tribe to develop a written language. Lack of adequate housing on tribal lands has become so critical that tribes have been acquiring mobile homes from the Federal Emergency Management Agency. The shelters meant to be utilized during disasters are being converted into living quarters for Native American families. When FEMA announced that it would give tribes 1,000 mobile homes unused after the response to Hurricane Katrina in 2005, applications from tribal governments poured in. R. David Paulson, FEMA administrator from 2005 to 2009, told the National Congress of American Indians that 110 tribes requested more than 5,500 mobile homes. Through 2009, 1,300 mobile homes were given to 88 tribes. Still, even more demand exists in Indian country. On tribal lands, where about 40% of Native Americans live, the shortage of decent housing is worse than in impoverished inner cities. The most recent estimates from 1996 and 2003 indicate that between 90,000 to 200,000 units were needed to house Native Americans who are homeless or live in overcrowded or substandard dwellings. 40% of housing on reservations is considered inadequate compared with 6% nationwide. In 2003, the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights described housing situations there as a quiet crisis and called for increased federal funds for Native American housing. To help address the broader housing shortage, the National American Indian Housing Council has asked Congress to increase funding next year to $845 million. The request runs counter to the push by conservative House Republicans to cut such discretionary spending programs. A group of researchers from North and South Dakota is working on a project to help members of the Standing Rock Reservation restore the land and raise cattle. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is giving nearly $5 million to the program as part of an initiative to boost local food systems and reduce hunger. Project leader Robert Maddock of North Dakota State University says the goal is to increase beef production and ultimately develop a food processing center on the reservation. Deputy Agricultural Secretary Kathleen Merrigan says the grant is a big thing for tribal members because they're interested in developing food sources that are compatible with American Indian traditions. The Ziibiwing Center for Anishinaabe Culture and Lifeways introduced a new curriculum guide that the center's leaders hope will be used to shed light on the long-neglected part of U.S. history. American Indian Boarding Schools, an exploration of global ethnic and cultural cleansing, was developed to help educate young people of all ethnic backgrounds about the era when Native American youngsters were taken from their homes and educated in Eurocentric culture. It was an unprecedented destruction of language, cultures, and families, said Shannon Martin, director of the Ziibiwing Center. The curriculum project was funded by an Ideas That Matter grant from Boston-based papermaker Sapi North America, which provides support for ideas that have the potential to change our lives, our communities, and our world. Printed copies are available through the Ziibiwing Center and will be available for download at the Ziibiwing Center's website at sagchip.org/Ziibiwing. And that's the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. I'd like to thank you for joining me and have a grand day.